Hi, it's Emily with the Welland Library, and this grab and go is something I've really been looking forward to. We're going to learn how to embroider. So in your kit should be a little sheet that I made up of just basic stitches of embroidery. I know it looks a little difficult, but I promise you I gave you materials that are very easy to work with. We have a plastic needle, a bunch of different colors of thread, your embroidery hoop, and some burlap. Embroidery's been around for thousands of years and is used to decorate fabric. Today we're going to be using burlap as our fabric. To start your embroidery, we're just going to get familiar with all of the materials. So take apart your embroidery hoop by unscrewing the top to loosen it. Take the piece without the screw and put the piece of burlap right on top of it. After that, take the other hoop and put it right over top of the burlap and the other hoop. Tighten the hoop over the burlap by pushing down on it and screwing it tighter. To start a project, you're going to take some thread and put it through one end of the needle. Tie a knot or put tape on the other end of the thread. Because the burlap is so big, I found that putting tape on it is a little easier. Begin by pulling your needle up through the back of the burlap where you would like to start. Making sure that only one end of the thread comes through the top. The other end with the knot or tape should stay behind your project. Now let's get into some basic stitches. Let's start with a running stitch. To start a running stitch, pull the thread up through the burlap and back down onto the square right beside it. Repeat, leaving a space between each stitch. To end a stitch, flip it over, give the thread a snip, and either tie or wrap tape around the end of the thread. Next is a back stitch. To start a back stitch, pull the thread up through the burlap and back down again to the square right next to it. Then, skip a space and come back up through that square. Then, back down again into the same hole as the stitch before. Because the holes of the burlap are so big, it makes the back stitch look a little funny. Up next is a chain stitch. This one is a little tricky. To start, you're going to pull the thread up, then back down into the same square. Pull it down until you see a loop. Then come up through the next square, right inside of the loop. Then, back down again through the loop and repeat. Chain stitches take a little getting used to, but they're very good for making vines and flowers. For the very last stitch, you're going to pull the thread up through the burlap and back down again, just like a running stitch. But this time, it's horizontal. Thank you for embroidering with me. I was very excited for this grab and go, and I was looking forward to the chance to embroider again. So I hope you had as much fun as I did, and make sure to check back next week for another craft.